Welcome to Buffzone. My name is Kyle Ringo. This is Neil Woelk. We cover the Colorado football team for the Daily Camera newspaper. Buffzone, as always, is sponsored by Liquor Mart, 15th and Canyon, home for all your tailgating needs. I suppose since there are no football games anymore, you can flip by there before you go to the basketball game. Anyway, it's Nebraska week, final week of the regular season here, and final Nebraska game. Neil, you must have a lot of Nebraska memories.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's amazing when you think about how many, Colorado and Nebraska have played every year since 1948, and we did a story in the paper the other day about how many things have happened in this series over the years, and there are, obviously some of the great lowlights in Colorado history and some of the great highlights in Colorado history have come courtesy of the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Do you have a particular memory that stands out for you?
The two that stand out are, I was in Lincoln for the 1990 game, cold, rain, miserable day. Colorado's trailing 12-0 going into the fourth quarter. Eric Bieniemy had fumbled 4 times. The Buffs had fumbled 5. Didn't look like they were doing anything, and all of a sudden everything came together. Bieniemy scores 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. They win 27-12, moves them up to number 2 in the nation, and a few weeks later they clinch a berth in the Orange Bowl. The other one would have to be 62-36. A game that shocked everybody, sent shockwaves around the college football world. Just an amazing performance by Chris Brown and Bobby Purify, and a game that was the beginning of the end for Frank Solich at NU. So those would be the two that stick out. And there's one other one when Nebraska did score 48 on Colorado in the third quarter, turning a 14-12 game into a 69-19 win.
All right, so maybe this week will provide another memorable moment. The Buffs go into Lincoln this Friday for the 69th meeting between these teams, day after Thanksgiving, needing a victory to become bowl eligible. Brian Cabral is 2-0 as the interim coach of the Buffs, and the Buffs are kind of riding a wave of momentum here, some positive mojo. Since the firing of Dan Hawkins, they've kind of turned things around, and it's pretty remarkable to me that after everything we've been through this season, we're sitting here talking about the Buffs having a chance, albeit a long shot, to go to a bowl game. And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a great season ender. It's going to have a lot of attention. Brian Cabral has indeed turned this team around. They're playing well for him. They've got their emotion going. They've got momentum. They've got all those things. And I think this is just one of those times that Colorado and Nebraska usually have good games. It doesn't matter. I mean, some bad Colorado teams have played very well against Nebraska. I expect Colorado to go up to Lincoln and play very well this weekend and make it a good game.
Yeah, they were initially 24-point underdogs. I think it's down to 17-point underdogs now. I'm not anticipating it being, that decisive of a victory for Nebraska, but it is a significant challenge for the Buffs. I mean, let's be honest. The last 2 games have come in Folsom Field, where Colorado has played its best football, even when Dan Hawkins was the coach. They haven't won a road game, since October of 2007. They had one and let it slip out of their grasp 3 weeks ago at Kansas. But playing Kansas on the road is one thing. Playing Nebraska on the road is another thing. And I'm not really anticipating the Buffs to win this game, but I think, like you said, I think they'll play well.
This is a nice matchup for Colorado. I mean, Nebraska's offense has been struggling lately. That should give Colorado's defense a little help there. Nebraska's offense has been struggling. Colorado's offense has been playing very, very well. I mean, there's been a great mix of run and pass. They've established the running game. Cody Hawkins, when he throws 25 to 30 passes a game, is a much better quarterback than when he has to throw 45 or 50. So I think all those things come into play. This could be a good day for Colorado.
I think that's a key right there that you just mentioned. Colorado has to be able to run the ball against Nebraska. They've run the ball effectively the past 3 weeks, but those 3 defenses that they've faced have been the 3 worst rushing defenses in the Big 12. Nebraska is a little bit better against the run. The one good thing, I think, is, and it's interesting that this happened. This doesn't happen very often, but all 5 of Colorado's offensive linemen last week graded out at 90% or better for the entire game. So you can tell just from that the Buffs offensive line is really feeling good about itself, playing with a lot of confidence right now.
And they like to block for the run.
Right.
Most offensive linemen do. Offensive linemen hate to pass block. They hate to start going backward. They like to go forward. And these guys, they've got some big kids up front there on that offensive line. They're looking forward to going out there and establish that running game.
You know, I think the worst thing that probably happened last week for the Buffs is that Nebraska lost at Texas A&M, a 9-6 game, and you know there's been a lot of controversy around Nebraska since that because of Coach Bo Pelini's blow up on the sidelines and with the officials and doing this to his quarterback, and
even his brother got involved in a little scrape too, evidently.
Right. So you know, I think Nebraska obviously has to win this game to play in. Well, it doesn't have to, but it would assure itself of a division title and a chance to play for the Big 12 championship if it wins this game. It could still lose, have Missouri lose to Kansas. I don't think that's going to happen. No. And still go. But the most direct route for the Cornhuskers to get to the Big 12 title game next week is for them to beat the Buffs this week.
Yeah, and that's not what you wanted to see. You wanted to see Nebraska having already clinched and looking ahead to the Big 12 championship game. You wanted Nebraska going into this game already looking ahead to the next week, preparing for that. That's not going to be the case. They're going to have their 100% focus on the Colorado Buffaloes. And, yeah, that's just what it's going to be. But I still think Colorado plays well.
Got a final score for us?
It's my last Colorado-Nebraska game, the last Colorado-Nebraska game for the foreseeable future. You know, let's go with Colorado 27, Nebraska 24.
All right. I'm going to go the opposite of that. I'm going to say Nebraska wins 27-24.
Alex Henry with another 57-yard field goal.
Yeah, that still sticks with me. That's one of the more amazing things, one of the more amazing endings I've ever seen to a college football game 2 years ago in Lincoln.
Yeah, that was astounding.
So this, as we've made public in the Daily Camera over the past few days, and as a lot of CU fans learned last week, that you're leaving us.
This is my last week at the Daily Camera, my last week covering the University of Colorado. I've taken a job in Oregon, working for, I'll be the editor of a little paper in a town called Hermiston, Oregon. Looking forward to it tremendously, and I'm going to miss this a lot. This has been a great job, a great place. There's no better sports town in America than the Denver Boulder area. And but it's a new opportunity and a new challenge, and you know I'm even going to miss you, and that's really, really scary.
Yeah,
you know, that's I was thinking about that this morning. When you start to miss Kyle Ringo, you know it's time for a change.
What is it about me that you're going to miss?
You know, just your gleeful manner, your cheerful attitude, always happy, those type of things.
That's awesome. I think you're the first person who's ever really missed
been
any
able
of that about me.
been able to get beneath the surface and see the real Ringo.
Yes.
All right.
You know, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank you. I think I know I speak for everybody here at the Daily Camera in saying that what you've done is irreplaceable, and you've been, you know, an incredible asset to this paper.
Thanks.
I think that speaks for itself.
Nothing like a fossil.
I know Buff fans really have appreciated your work. I talk to them. I hear from them all the time. The past couple of weeks, as news of this has trickled out, I've heard from people who just can't believe that, you know, you're not going to be here anymore, and you're going to be missed. I'll just leave it at that.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, and I will miss this place tremendously. You do something for 30 years, and people pretty soon get used to it, even if it's bad.
It's definitely not been bad.
Well, I appreciate that, and I actually have an email I was going to read. I've received a lot of email over the last couple of days from people saying they were going to miss me, and I'm going to read this, and this is one that's going to stick out in my mind for a long time. I won't mention this guy's name, but the subject line says, "Good riddance, you stunk. Between you and that old fossil cretin, I never saw such a piece of bleep sports page as what you've been printing for these many years. What a joke, particularly your restating of the obvious concerning the CU football program. Get the hell out of here and don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out." Signed, and I didn't mention his name. I did write this man back. I said, "Dear blank, thanks for taking the time to write. Best of luck to you in the future." And he did respond one more time. He said, "Best of luck to you too, Neil. Admirable of you to take the high road considering what a bleep hole I've been. It's nothing personal, you understand. You may be a fine man. I might even like you. but as a sports writer, you've been grinding on my last bleeping nerve for as long as I can remember. Good luck. I guess that just sums up the whole career right there. Kyle, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
All right.